The Bega River winds through Bega Valley farmlands in the southeast corner of New South Wales. Fed by the Brogo and Bimboka rivers, the Tantawangalo, Candelo and Wallumbla creeks, and many smaller tributaries, these nourish over 100 wetlands. For millennia, the Bega River has been the lifeblood of the Jiringanj people, sustaining their way of life and culture. From the escarpment ranges through Mogarika Inlet, the Bega River flows to the Pacific Ocean at Tathra. It's a large catchment. Today, the river is crucial for our drinking water and agriculture, including our iconic dairy industry. Huge ancient river oaks still line some of its riverbanks. They offer a haven for wildlife. Their roots hold the earth. Since European occupation, there's been massive erosion caused by the clearing of forests and woodlands and the tilling, compaction and overgrazing of the land. Sedimentation and invasive weeds choked the river channel. Bridge Street was frequently damaged by floods. There was a risk the river would divert from its main channel, threatening Bega's township, downstream utilities and farmlands. A group of dedicated residents formed the Bega River and Wetlands Landcare group to help. I'm Chris Allen and I'm the president of the Bega River and Wetlands Landcare group.
I'm Ali Rodway. I'm one of the founding members of the Bega River and Wetlands Landcare group, or BRAWL, with Chris Allen. And we've been working on this area of the river since 2006. And we were really inspired to come down and work on the river because we wanted to make it a beautiful, welcoming place for the Bega community once again.
And we've had funding from a number of different sources for these projects, and these include the Southern Rivers Catchment Management Authority, the Bega Valley Shire Council, local land services, and particularly the Environmental Trust. Our initial project was at Spenco Lagoon, and that really inspired us, that lagoon. There was such a precious body of water right close to the town. It was hardly known by anybody. It was absolutely covered in weeds, and we just felt this is such a precious thing to bring back to life again. We then moved our focus down to the river.
I'm Erin Moon and I'm the Bega River and Wetlands Landcare Community Coordinator. When I joined the group, a lot of the initial projects had been undertaken, and the pathway and the picnic areas and the basic infrastructure had already been laid. We applied for a 3-year Environmental Trust grant. Our goal was to create a wildlife refuge to escape extreme events and to be resilient to bushfires through species selection and succession planting, and to armour the riverbanks to withstand greater and more frequent floods.
Under this latest grant, our major project involved clearing 3.5 hectares of dense weeds, including privet, Chinese boxthorn, Turkey rhubarb and Madeira vine. An excavator with a mulching head attachment mulched the weeds to the ground, leaving a thick layer of wood chips to protect the soil surface. In this area we planted over 3,000 native plants. A local seed collector ensured the plants were of local provenance, collected from across the Shire to enhance genetic diversity and resilience to climate change.
Through this grant project, we held several community and school tree planting days, engaging students and local residents. Participants included students from local primary schools, university students, and a local social enterprise. Together, we walked to the river site, discussed the importance of restoring habitat, and planted hundreds of trees. We also engaged with participants of the Eco Cruise Environmental Employment Program to contribute to the program. Community involvement in restoration work is crucial as it builds understanding, a sense of ownership and ongoing stewardship of this special place. Collaborating with other community groups made these events more successful and enjoyable, with highlights like costume planting and dancing with the Princesses of Power.
Under this grant, we enhance the quality of habitat by building and installing nest boxes. The Community Nest Box Building Workshop taught participants woodwork skills and nest box design. We learned that each species has specific requirements for size, shape, location and accessibility of hollows. Skilled arborists installed the boxes using the Habershaw technique, creating a central roosting and breeding habitats for hollow-dependent fauna. These species would otherwise have to wait at least 80 years for natural hollows to form and over 120 years for larger hollows. Providing these artificial hollows allows the species to occupy the habitat much sooner. Monitoring of nest boxes is crucial to ensure their success and safety for animals. We won't get a photo today. We now know that we are definitely providing habitat for at least one brush-tailed possum.
The river is a dynamic system, with floods being the primary force shaping and reshaping it. The loss of stabilising vegetation and changes in flow dynamics can cause significant damage by eroding banks and destabilising trees. Through the Environmental Trust Project, we undertook erosion control works at 3 different sites. We used a combination of rocks, sandbags, fallen and pruned branches to fill erosion holes and rebuild the natural contours of the bank. We have then stabilised the newly formed banks by planting deep-rooted, fast-growing, hardy, locally indigenous species. With ongoing flooding, this work has been challenging, and more work will be needed to continue to protect some of these areas.
A more complex erosion control site was at the Junction Crossing. The banks were being used by 4-wheel drive vehicles, destabilising the sediments and causing deep scours down the banks and around the base of several remnant river oak trees. We installed bollards to restrict vehicle access to the banks around the historic crossing. However, we couldn't dig holes for the bollards because there was uncertainty whether the major underground utility lines below were accurately mapped. We discovered an ingenious solution using a truck with high-pressure water and a sucker. The site was then planted to help stabilise the soils.
What's been so beautiful about the experience of working down here is the level of community engagement with our projects.
So Chris and I have spent 18 years working down here, and they've been some of the best years of my life, and I hope Chris's. We've loved working with community down here. We've loved being in nature. We've loved watching all the changes that have happened. We've loved watching people come back to the river. People have weddings here, people have picnics, and people bring their dogs down to walk. People swim in the river. It's just such a central part of the life of Bega. But we really love coming down for working bees. So spending time with other volunteers. You know, sometimes you think, oh gosh, I don't have time for that in my life. But if you just come, you always leave feeling better. So I always leave feeling energised after working bees. I feel more connected to my community and more connected to nature.
One person said, you know what you've done here? You've turned the town around. The town had turned its back on the river, and now it's a really precious part of the whole of this town.
If you'd like to join us and do this work with us, then you can find the contact details on our Facebook page or on our website.